Hey everyone, my name is Ash and I make puzzles here on YouTube.
Welcome to PV Inspired. This is a place where crafters, creators and artists make one-of-a-kind pieces inspired by Amazon Prime Video movies, series and characters.
Today I am making a puzzle based on the wilds. When I first start making a puzzle, I am going to make a digital painting with my tablet based on a source image that I find. So I'm looking at my source material for the wilds puzzle, and I notice a few things right off the bat that I'm gonna need to work with. One is that the sky is white. I'm not the kind of person who likes to put together the all-white puzzles. I am going to mess with the sky a little bit to give it a bit more variety. The second thing is we're gonna crop this in. We're gonna pull it in so we see more of the figures and just bring them into the forefront. We're going to let this character in the forefront have a bit more detail in her face and her clothes. As we push back further, I'm going to let myself become a little looser. We're going to be more diffused and just be okay with describing a little bit of shadow where we need it. I have a degree in painting. That's what I went to school for. I love painting. I was also very interested in outsider artists, so folk artists and people who make roadside attractions, things like that. And I had a growing interest in kitsch. And what better thing to do than to make a puzzle out of a painting if I'm so interested in kitsch. I love a cloudy sky, I love a very whimsical sky, so I'm gonna sort of paint in these almost sky color to make this white look a little bit more like it's reading like clouds. When I'm done with the painting, which is a really difficult part, that's the hardest part, is to know when you're done with a painting. Usually it's just when you have no more time to work on the painting, I print it out on a vinyl sticker. So I press print, I print it out. Usually the first print is not gonna work. I'm gonna be checking for inconsistencies, for any kind of weird thing the printer's gonna throw at me because that's what it likes to do. When I have my vinyl sticker ready, when it's perfect or almost perfect, I will then move to adhering it to a piece of chipboard. And if you don't know what a chipboard is basically cardboard, but it's pressed really firmly so you can get nice cuts and make great crafts with it. This chipboard is a medium weight chipboard, and I find that it is the highest quality you can get with the easiest cut. We can go higher, but the cut will take a little longer. And if we go lower, maybe like cereal box thickness, it's just not a good puzzle. We'll go ahead and adhere the vinyl sticker to it, and we'll let that sit. After we have the vinyl sticker on and adhered, there is one last step we need to do, which is lamination. And this you don't necessarily have to do, but through my experimentation, I've found that it really helps keep the paper together. Because when you're making a cut, you're gonna start having frayed edges around your paper, and while the vinyl sticker is good quality, it's nice to have just a little bit extra shield on it. So this needs to sit for 24 hours because adhesive needs time to adhere. And I like to give it a little extra time just to be safe. I'm gonna just let it sit, leave it alone, and when I come back, it looks perfect. Now it's time, finally, to cut out the puzzle, and I am using a Wen scroll saw, which is sort of an entry-level woodworking scroll saw. And it's at this point that I think back to my woodshop class in college and the woodshop safety rules, which are no jewelry, put your hair back, no hanging clothes, and wear a mask and goggles. The blades I'm using, and I've done some experimentation with this, is a jeweler blade, and it is a 0-2 thickness. And I'm also giving it a lot of play, so it's not very tense. The tension on my blade is low, and it's very thin because we're gonna be making curves and working around, starting and stopping, and that already is going to put a lot of stress on the blade, so you don't want it to be too tight. And we'll get to start cutting. I'm going to start by getting rid of this excess cardboard on the sides, and I'll trim it down to just the image. Once I have the image squared, I will go ahead and make notches. For these, I'll make 8 notches. We'll have an 8x8 puzzle. So I'm going to go about every inch and make a notch just to kind of guide myself, because I'm not using a template for cutting out these pieces. I'm going to freehand it because it's more fun that way. And after that goes, I'm just going to start cutting. And I'm going to cross my fingers mentally and hoping that I don't make any mistakes too big, but that's the beauty about making a puzzle on a scroll saw, is that you have no way of making it uniform. I certainly don't. And we're left with some really unique and interesting pieces. Even if you might think that looks like a mistake, it's something that adds to just how wonderful the final puzzle we make will be. It usually takes me about 45 minutes to an hour and a half to finish a puzzle like this, depending on the size pieces I decide to make and how big the image is. From time to time, I'll go ahead and take my foot off of the on switch, pull out that piece once the saw is completely stopped, because I want to keep this area neat and clean for cutting. And once I get down to that very last piece where it's just basically two pieces that I have to maneuver around, I am so very careful to do that right, because things could get dangerous pretty fast. And when I'm done, I'm gonna dust off my machine and just send it some appreciation for doing such a good job. I'm gonna take all these pieces out and give them a good dust, because there's a little bit of a fine dust on these things, and there might be a couple of frayed edges that I'll wanna just tear off. Finally, I'm done. This could have been, weeks of preparation leading up to this final piece, which is a puzzle. As I am putting this beautiful, majestic puzzle together, I am looking at sort of this image that I've made and thinking about this show, The Wild, and how similar is life to being stranded and being experimented upon. And that's what we're meditating on today. When we do a puzzle, we like to meditate on the image. And so think about that maybe. How can I escape? How can I make my life better? And even just putting together this puzzle is giving me a sense of relaxation. It gives me a sense of accomplishment too. Like, if I can put this puzzle together, I can do anything. If I were trapped on a deserted island, I would want puzzles. I would want one of those really big 10,000 piece puzzles. But now that I hear myself saying it, I'm thinking about, where am I going to do that? In the sand? Maybe if I could find a big rock to put it on. I don't know. These are things we think about when we're making puzzles. It could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I think I'd rather have my saw. And we're going to put the final few pieces into this puzzle. I am feeling good. I'm feeling relaxed, because this has been a few weeks of work, and here's the product. Thanks for joining me. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Amazon Prime Video. And I'm leaving you with a piece of patience for whatever puzzle you are dealing with right now.